Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. I smell something in the air. It smells like salt. It smells like the ocean. Well, it's probably because there's a massive red tidal wave about to crash the shore. We are slowly seeing every little ounce of confidence dissipating, dispersing of the Democrat collective body. A total, utter collapse of Democrat enthusiasm and Democrat confidence. And you know what? With good reason. All of the races that they thought were in the bag, safe Democrat, lean Democrat, one by one have shifted all in the same direction towards Republicans. If you guys have been paying attention to the Cook Political Report or all the RCP projections, so many races have been shifting over the last couple of months, and unanimously, every single one of those races has shifted towards the Republican side, and it's gotten to a point where that massive tidal wave is forming. I've been seeing all of the predictions all over the place, all over Twitter. Democrats have been saying it, and even some doom and gloom conservatives have been mirroring the same sentiment, that Republicans are poised to take over the House, but likely won't win the Senate. Well, folks, I don't think that's the case at all. In fact, something historic might be brewing. And that's not coming from me, that's coming from the New York Times, from election analyst Nate Cohn, who's warning the Democrats of their potential nightmare scenario, Republicans winning the greatest majority since the Great Depression. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on here. Let's talk about this monumental political shift, this seismic political shift. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so trust me when I tell you that the panic is setting in. We have this piece from the Cook Political Report from Jessica Taylor, who's a contributor. There is an increasing likelihood that Republicans may not lose a single incumbent senator or governor. These four Democrats are in toss-up races. Cook Political Report posted this, and it still shocks me that these races are close. They're not close, especially not Wisconsin and Nevada. And even John Fetterman knows it. John Fetterman's campaign tweeted the other day, "This is not good." Cook Political Report downgraded our race from lean Democrat to toss-up. I need your support now more than ever. Can you rush $15 to my campaign today? RCP House rating changes. 5 races shift towards Republicans. Since the 1st of October, RCP have changed ratings on 22 House seats. All changes were towards Republicans. From this week's Cook Political Report, many Democrats who are in toss-up races and lean Republican races need your donations now. Just take a look at the list here, folks. It basically tells you all that you need to know. There are double the amount of Democrat districts in toss-up territory than Republican. A lot of those Republican toss-up races are going to head towards the Republican side, and it's likely that a good chunk of those Democrat toss-up seats also move rightward. Not to mention, look how much blue there is in these districts that are lean Republican and likely Republican, with only 2 Republican districts supposedly leaning Democrat. Visually, this tells you all that you need to know. Republican candidates are making gains everywhere, and the most important races that Democrats have been so confident over are starting to slowly slip away. John Fetterman's own campaign said this is not good, and with good reason. Take a look at this new poll showing Mehmet Oz holding a 5-point lead over John Fetterman in the Pennsylvania Senate race, with leaners Mehmet Oz at 51%, John Fetterman at 46%. Not exactly surprising as John Fetterman's track record continues to get exposed.
Here are just some of the convicted murderers that Fetterman put in the lone vote. He was the only one to put back on the streets. Take a look at these men. John Brookins, he was convicted of first-degree murder for killing a 58-year-old woman with a pair of scissors. Alexis Rodriguez, convicted of murdering a 17-year-old. Rodriguez bragged about beating the 17-year-old boy with a baseball bat. And then there's this third one. Again, remember, Fetterman's the lone vote here. Wayne Covington, convicted of first-degree murder for shooting and killing a teenager in cold blood for heroin money. Harris, it's not as if it was a unanimous vote by the parole board. There are many examples of that. He was the lone vote for these individuals getting out of jail. And this isn't a movie for the victims, for the parents of the 17-year-old boy.
Well, what happens if one of them gets out and does something horribly wrong?
It would, first and foremost, it would be catastrophic and be personally devastating if somebody hurt somebody. That there's always that possibility theoretically. Thousands of people are paroled, so the vast majority of inmates actually cycle through and they reemerge.
John Fetterman going on the record, claiming that repeat violent felons being released back onto the streets only to commit crimes again and victimize innocent civilians is just an unfortunate circumstance of criminal justice reform. Absolute nutcase. And the race that Democrats Democrats were probably the most confident over, the Senate battle in Arizona. Well, now even Politico is reporting that GOP leaps back into contention in Arizona Senate race. Blake Masters is running just a handful of points behind Democrat Senator Mark Kelly in recent polling, and that's caused quite the shakeup, causing Democrat panic, as Real Clear Politics and their RCP projection for Battle of the Senate just shifted that race to lean Republican. They're now projecting 53 Republican seats, as Arizona's Senate race now moves into the Republican column. The most recent poll from the Daily Wire/Trafalgar has Mark Kelly up by only 1 percentage point. Cue the copium, let the copium begin. It seems as though Republicans are possibly on track here to pull off a stunning victory. It went from Republicans are likely to win a small majority in the House and possibly just maintain that 50-50 split or even lose a seat in the Senate, to Republicans are on track to absolutely dominate the House and win a possible 52 to 53 seat majority in the Senate. And now even New York Times election analysis Nate Cohn is sounding the alarm. We've got this piece right over here from the New York Times. If these poll results keep up, expect anything on election night. The current range of numbers could translate to a Democratic hold in the Senate or an overall Republican rout. Here's where the panic sets in for Democrats. Consider, for instance, that a 3-point Republican lead on the generic ballot is 7 percentage points better for Republicans than Mr. Biden's national 4-point victory in 2020. If every district finished that far to the right of the presidential election result, Republicans would come away with 259 districts, an almost 50-seat gain and the largest Republican majority since the Great Depression. Now, is this the most likely scenario? Probably not. But I'll tell you what, I think we're a whole lot closer to that scenario than we are to the leftist copium narrative. That Cook Political Report chart that I showed you guys earlier is the visual representation of that. Those 20 Democrat toss-up seats have a decent chance of moving rightward. And if we take a look at the Real Clear Politics Battle for the House 2022 page, there's already 225 relatively safe Republican seats with 35 in toss-up. And take a look in the toss-up range here, folks. It's all blue as far as the eye can see. Even in the leans GOP portion, it's almost all blue. If Republicans manage to win 25 of those 35 seats, that's a 250 Republican seat victory. It's likely. It's not necessarily impossible. It's likely that we see Republicans take anywhere from 240 seats to 250, maybe even 260. That is a monumental shift. In the current House of Representatives, Democrats hold 222 seats, Republicans 212. This means the GOP is currently on track to win anywhere from 30 to 40 seats, and that's a pretty conservative estimate. No amount of Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden cope, no amount of Democrat voter cope is going to change the current reality that the American voter base is moving away from Democrat candidates at record pace. In every single key voter demographic, people are sick of it. And most importantly, they're sick of this administration. It's looking like it's going to be a referendum on Joe Biden's presidency. What this election represents is stopping the bleeding. The country is bleeding so much under Joe Biden's presidency that what American voters are looking as the best case scenario is to stop the bleeding, to just elect Republicans to stand in the way of Joe Biden's agenda, effectively rendering his last 2 years as president lame duck status. It's nothing but good news today, friends, and I'm glad that I'm the one who gets to fill you in. That's the video though, folks. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna get back to work. I got one more video to record on the day. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you on the next one.